I don't think you should be listening to what your customers are saying. I think people are bad eyewitnesses. And worse, I think when people are recalling their own actions, they've already been justified and rationalized through their lens, through their worldview. So I don't believe you can trust people to tell you what they do and why they do it. I think there's such inherent bias that comes into play when you call a customer or when you survey a customer. When a customer is contacted by a company that they've spent money at, they're not going to give you the most honest feedback, even if they try, even if they earnestly want to. And that's if they want to. If they don't want to, they might just tell you what they think you want to hear. They might try to be nice to you. They might try to say something that they think will make you give them free product. But I don't think that means customer feedback is useless. And on this episode of Tactical and Practical, I'm going to teach you how to get real, meaningful, accurate, and actionable feedback from your customers, because that is very, very valuable. Today's episode is brought to you by Intelligems. As you know, they are our profit growth partner. Since we've been a paying customer the last couple of years, we've had record growth here at OG, and so much of that has to do with our PRO strategy, which is what we call profit and revenue optimization. And that's what Intelligems let us do. It's a continuous process of optimizing every aspect of our website to extract the most profit and revenue from every site visitor that comes. And if that sounds like something your business needs, go to intelligems.io and let them know I sent you. All right. I don't believe customer feedback is useless. I just think you should be learning from their actions, not their words. We were all told growing up that actions speak louder than words, and people seem to not believe that anymore. People seem to think words trump everything. And I don't believe that's the case, because people lie and people misremember and people are biased. But people's actions reveal their true intentions. Because a lot of people's actions and their decisions are buried deep in their subconscious, where they might not even know what they're really thinking and feeling. But despite these biases, despite these barriers in communication, I still believe you can have two-way conversations with your customers that provide accurate and reliable feedback. But instead of picking up the phone and calling them, instead of sending them a survey to respond to, I want you to think about your half of the conversation is putting out content, ads, emails, website tweaks, imagery, headlines, copy, videos. That's your half of the conversation. And their half of the conversation is how they respond to it. What makes them purchase more? What makes them open more emails? What makes them click on more ads? What makes them spend more time on your website? Because I believe people's actions to your output provide a lot more meaningful feedback than anything a customer can tell you. Let me give you an example. We've completely overhauled our brand copy and mission in the last year. And this copy isn't just, a great story about who our brand is. It actively increases conversions and revenue and AOV and profit. So we know this copy is working. And this copy speaks to people's legacy, right? Some of the most impactful lines of copy in there talk about our watches are built, for people who are carving their own path, people who are adventuring, and people who are building themselves a life worth remembering. Now, nowhere in this copy do I mention the word legacy, but that's what the copy is speaking to. And just like I don't mention it, I've never had a customer tell me that they care about their legacy. It's not how people talk to each other. No one's going to pick up the phone from the marketing guy from a watch company they just bought from. And when he asks them, hey, what made you buy from us today? They're not going to tell me, well, I really care about my legacy, so I bought a watch from you. It's not how people talk. It's not how people think. And worse, which I've seen some of you do this, I can't send out a survey that says, do you care about your legacy? Yes or no. No one's going to unprompted tell you that they care about their legacy. It's not how people talk. But because I crafted a message that speaks to people who are carving their own path, to people who are building themselves a life worth remembering, and the response to that copy is overwhelmingly more conversions and revenue and profit, then I know our best customers care about their legacy. So that's what I want you to get in the habit of doing. Test new copy, new visuals, and measure how your customers respond. After that, and this is the most important part of this, don't just set that copy as the winner on that landing page. Right? That'll get you a piece of a win. But what makes this a real conversation and what makes this really actionable is how you apply what you've learned, how do you apply what you've listened to every single area of your business. If I have learned that our customers care about their legacy, how do I not just apply it to the copy on our main landing page? How to apply it to our unboxing experience? How do I apply it to our email flows? How to apply it to our customer service team? That's where the magic happens, and that's where customer feedback becomes valuable. It's not just when you find a winner and you put it in one place. It's when you can multiply the impact of that win by 15 by applying it to every single area of your business. Let me give you an example. Let's say you go on a first date, right? And you're talking to this girl about where she's from, where she grew up, what life was like, and she briefly mentions that her parents had an apple tree in the backyard. That wasn't the focal point of the conversation, but she just briefly mentioned it. That's something that I would want to log away, take a mental note of, and come back to it another time. So then when you pick her up for the second date, if you picked her up and said, hey, I brought you an apple because, last week you mentioned you grew up with an apple tree, so I thought it'd be sweet. That's not going to work. That's going to, I think what the kids are calling it these days, that's going to give her the ick. It's too on the nose. It's not clever. It's not smooth. So that's not what you should do. But if you were a little more subtle with it, if you're a little more smooth with it, and you go to pick her up for that second date, and you go meet her at her door, and then you open the car door because you're a gentleman. And as you are shutting the door, you tell her, hey, there's a gift for you in the cup holder. And in the cup holder of your car is a nice apple. By the time you walk around the car and get in, that girl's going to be in love with you because she's going to know that you took note of something that she didn't even know was that important to her. But you took note of something that was important enough for her to mention it. You logged it away, and you use it again in the future to bring her back to those happy memories. That's the kind of person that she's going to want to be with. And that's the kind of person that your customers are going to want to buy from again and again. It's all about how can you take these little moments and these little emotions and the times where your customers show you who they truly are by their actions, and how can you bring them back to that feeling again and again and again. Now, you got to do this subtly. You'll notice that the copy on our homepage right now is, the copy on our homepage right now is not, hey, if you care about your legacy, you should wear an original grain watch. That's not going to work out. But when you see our ad, that's, a lifestyle picture that people resonate with, an aspirational character wearing one of our watches, and it says, carve your own path. And then the ad copy talks about how these watches aren't just built with a lifetime warranty. They're not just built for life, but they're built for living and adventuring and for building yourself a life worth remembering. People are going to be brought back to that deep part of their heart and their brain that knows they're living for something bigger than themselves, and they're living, to pass on a life that was better than the one they had to their kids. You're going to unlock that part of their brain, and trust me, their wallet's not far behind. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to redefine what a customer conversation can be. I'm not saying you shouldn't pick up the phone and call them, because I think you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't send out a survey, because I think you should. I just don't think that's all you should be doing. I think you can only get so far by listening to what your customers have to say. And I think you can get a lot further by watching what they do and applying that to every area of your business as much as possible. So that's how I think you can extract meaningful and accurate and actionable customer feedback in a modern D2C era. Put out content, that's your half of the conversation, and watch their actions, watch how they respond to it. That's their half of the conversation. Once you learn what makes them tick, once you learn what makes them buy, then I need you to bring them back to that core emotion or feeling or sentiment again and again and again, everywhere throughout your business. That's how you're going to build a meaningful, long-lasting brand that'll stand the test of time. Thanks for listening to Tactical and Practical, brought to you by IntelliGems. I will see you next time.